live outside the motorcycle shop, talking about surroundings and boundaries. What do I mean by that? If you're in an environment that doesn't want you to question your surroundings at all, it's always a red flag. Why is that? Well, for one, they don't want you to pay attention to something that they're hiding. This is always an illusion being casted when this is going on. There'll never be a situation where somebody's going to get angry about you questioning your surroundings if there isn't an illusion being casted. If you have one, I'd like to know it because, like always, that's where the anger comes in because they're trying to make a scene. You know what I mean? They're trying to cause a whatever outcome, But like in doing so, they paint this picture. This whole like think of it like a movie set. They got this whole movie set all around you, and you're supposed to be a pretty princess for this movie. And when you question your surroundings and you don't feel like a pretty princess and you don't know that you're supposed to be a pretty princess, you get to that movie set and there you are not trying to be a pretty princess and questioning things. Like, don't worry about it. Just go be a pretty princess, you know? And these are all really big red flags. These are all people trying to narrate your life and create dominance over you or a situation that they don't have any control over. See, because like the devil doesn't have any ability to create, nor does he have control over you per se. All he has is control over your temptations, your actions, your decisions, your words, and things like that he could try to influence. When they question and they get angry at you for saying, "Hey, what's that? What is that? I thought I heard something," and they're like, "No, no, 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 there ain't nothing there." These are all really big red flags of somebody trying to control your narrative, whether it's a narcissist, a demon, you know, just somebody that's a frenemy, whatever it is. It's always a big red flag. Always watch out for it and control that narrative after that. At, at all costs, make sure you know every detail of what's going on from then on out. And maybe they'll approach you a little bit different with a little bit more couth. Because, like, how are you not going to notice the big elephant in the room that's starving to death? Sitting there like, please. He's sitting there with his trunk, like, trying to nudge you, like, please feed me. Can I have some peanuts, please? They won't feed me nothing. I'm starving to death. And so, like, when you got that big elephant in the room sitting there talking to you and nobody is doing anything about it, that's not a cue for you to do nothing about it, too. That's your cue to do something about it. If they question why you want to know what's going on around you at any given time, that's a big red flag. Them are the type of people that will starve an elephant in an apartment building and then wonder how am I going to get that elephant out? Because like I was just going to visit some people and I go up to their apartment and they're like on the fifth floor. And I go into their apartment and right there in the living room is this huge starving elephant. I thought, huh. Well, that's why the federal agents are outside selling peanuts, and nobody will buy peanuts for it because it's like, oh, we can't buy peanuts for it. They'll know we have an elephant up here. And I don't know anything about any of that. I just know that there's a starving elephant up there. So I bring some peanuts with me the next time I come. I don't tell on them. I don't say, yeah, there's an elephant up on the fifth floor there. No, I don't do any of that. I just get some peanuts from the nice federal agents there at the sidewalk and I go and I give them to the elephant. And I try to remind the people that own the apartment that, yes, you have a giant elephant that you need to keep hidden, but he's here now in your apartment and you live on the fifth floor. What are you going to do exactly if he starves to death and dies? How are you going to get that bazillion ton elephant out of your apartment in the elevator? What are you going to do? You going to throw him out the window right on top? Peanut stand down there? I mean, how are you going to solve this problem? Because it's not solving it at all by ignoring it. Like, I'm just saying, because, like, I didn't know anything about all that problem until I see it. Obvious starving elephant, and I buy him peanuts and I bring them to him, and now I'm the bad guy somehow. And I don't understand that. So don't ignore your starving elephant. And remember, like, he walked in there by himself, and, like, that was pretty easy. Nobody was looking. You, like, psst, come on. It's past curfew, but come on, elephant. Let's go upstairs to the apartment. You get him up there and you chain him up. You're like, ha ha ha, you're my elephant now. But then everybody's looking for the stolen elephant, and you're like, well, fuck, what am I gonna do now? Like, nobody can know I got an elephant up here because he's stolen. So then they ignore it, and they're just trying to like make it go away. So they starve it. They're starving it to death. And there's federal agents outside. They know they got the elephant, but they can't prove it. They're like, oh, anybody got an elephant out here that we need to sell some peanuts to, you know? And like, that's how it goes. And so the person that brings peanuts to the elephant is this big bad guy like that. Like a dude couldn't eat peanuts, you know? It doesn't have to be a starving elephant that's eating the peanuts, but I mean, just saying. How are you going to get it out of there if it dies like that? There's going to be a scene because, like, you're not going to just be able to carry it. Let's get real. You can't just carry that elephant out of there when it dies. You can't just smush a dead elephant on the fifth floor in the elevator and get it downstairs. That ain't gonna work either. Like, what are you gonna do? You need that elephant to be healthy enough to walk out of its little area, wherever you got it kept, or however you got it in. You're gonna have to get it out like that because otherwise it's going to be a scene. Because I don't know if you know, but elephants are really, really heavy, especially the ones that are being kept in the corner of a room. There's something about them that make them heavier and heavier. And keeping a secret is more energy. Your body, literally, the second you have to start keeping a secret, your body and your brain literally immediately goes into overtime trying to keep that secret up. Even the ones that you don't think about anymore. So imagine all them like open windows in your brain going all the time with every secret you've had to keep and all them things you had to keep tight-lipped about and just forget about and not even think about. That's what we do. I mean, the ones that are good at it, keeping a secret or dealing with stress or pressure, you know, you just kind of forget about it and you're not really dealing with it. It's just kind of somewhere else. But that elephant isn't going to get up and walk away on its own if it's dead. You know what I mean? It's going to always be there and you got that open window that's running overtime. So then it's like you wonder why you have no energy. You go, you know, fast forward 10 years into the hard life, you know, being an adult or whatever. You have no energy and you want to know where it's going. Like, I didn't do nothing today. But you got this lie that's running that program and that's keep it a secret because you know that if you get caught, then you got to open up all these other windows to keep that secret. You know what I mean? And it's running overtime and it's just shut away and it's closed off to the side. And that's the thing. Like, that's why you don't have no energy because it's keeping so much energy to keep all these little things that you want to forget about and just push out of your brain, you know, just to keep them, like, to keep your brain from fracturing. It keeps all this energy going to run all that shit. Like, see me, I won't even do something if I gotta tell a lie afterwards. Have I told a lie? Of course I have. Do I tell lies? Absolutely not. I will do everything in the world to avoid telling a lie. I will literally drive to another state to say that I was there at that state so I didn't have to tell a whole lie. You know what I mean? I'm that person. It's like, well, how, if I gotta tell a lie, how am I gonna get out of this? And how am I gonna make it not a lie? You know what I mean? Like, you have to make it not a lie then. That's what I do. But, like, literally, if somebody wants you to not question your surroundings or the things going on around you ever, and I mean, not because you're just the nosiest person on the block, and they don't like, oh, we don't want Barbara to know because she's nosy. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying like your legitimate everyday life, and they don't want you to question about what's going on. Or if you do have a question, like, hey, what's that weird noise? And they'll say, oh yeah, that's just the toaster, or whatever. I'm like, well, that's a weird noise for a toaster, but thank you for telling me and validating my existence here in the world. Instead of these people that are hiding things, they want to be like, what noise? I don't hear no noise. Or, oh, that's just whatever, you know. And it's like the next noise you hear is saying, I am not that. You know, as loud as day. It'll be like, no, you thought it was that, but I'm definitely not that. You know, you gotta, that's always a red flag. It's a huge red flag. People that want you to make you deny of your reality and things like that. They talk about all that narcissism and demonic behavior, and it's very true. They do want you to deny your reality of what you know to be true. But like what I know to be true is there's a starving elephant up on floor 5, and he ain't gonna be able to walk out there on his own. And there's federal agents selling peanuts, so they could say, "Oh, it's not like they couldn't get peanuts to feed that poor elephant. We were right downstairs selling them. As a matter of fact, nobody even cared to bother to get them any." You know, like that's how that goes. So it's a setup every which way you turn if you don't let that fucking elephant flourish and live and walk the fuck out just like he walked in. So until next time, I'm glad to spend some time with you. Thanks for chiming in. Please like, share, and subscribe. It does help my channel and my creative doodahs. And until next time, the angel of authenticity reminding you to get real and stay that way.